Hey girls, welcome back to my channel where we are building confidence one video at a time. Today we're going to be talking about my favorite foundations of 2020. Okay, listen, I feel like 2020 came out with some fire makeup releases and I just want to talk about it, so let's get into it. Alrighty, so let's get into my top 5 foundations of 2020. We're going to be starting off with my Mcgrath Labs Skin Fetish Sublime Perfection Foundation. This foundation has such a long name. I wear the shade medium 19 in this foundation in case anybody uses me for a shade reference, but I love this foundation because it is a Longwear customizable foundation that you can build from a sheer to medium coverage. I love this foundation because it is a natural finish. It's for all skin types. They have 36 shades. It's a little pricey. This is my most expensive foundation at $68. And I mean, it's really pricey, but when I tell you guys why I love this foundation, you will understand why it's $68. And you can find this foundation at Sephora.com. So something that I recently learned about this foundation that I had no idea is they actually recommend that you apply it with your fingertips. So if you want a sheer coverage, apply it with your fingertips. And if you want like a more fuller coverage, then you can go ahead and use a brush. But I typically use a brush because I prefer a fuller coverage foundation. But if you're not like a full coverage girl and you just want like a natural look, go ahead and use your fingertips to blend it out, starting from the center and working your way out. Girl, it's gonna be perfect. The reason that this foundation has made it to my top 5 of 2020 is because I love the fact that you can wear this foundation every single day. Like sometimes I don't be wanting to do the extras and put on a full coverage foundation and you know what I mean? Like my face just feel weighed down and feel like I have on a lot of product. So this foundation is good for if you wanna just throw it on every single day and just look very natural. But I also feel like even though this foundation is like natural, I feel like it makes me feel like I'm like super bougie because I paid $70 for a foundation. So that is literally the reason that I love this foundation, and I highly recommend it if you are somebody looking for just a natural foundation but you still want to feel good and you still want to feel sexy and expensive. Moving right along to the next foundation, we're going to be moving into the Rare Beauty foundation. This is a weightless buildable foundation. It is a medium coverage, natural finish, and it is for all skin types. I love this foundation because it is only $29 and they have 48 shades. I picked up mine from Sephora.com. Actually, all of these I picked up from Sephora.com. So if you like any of these products that I mentioned, that's where you can purchase them from. I love the fact that this foundation is inexpensive compared to all the other foundations at Sephora. Typically, the foundations at Sephora range between, I think, like $40 and up, but the fact that this foundation is $29 and it is bomb.com is what sold me on this foundation before I even tried it. I love this foundation because I love what the brand stands for. It's makeup made to feel good in without hiding what makes you unique. This was such a talked about foundation because a lot of people didn't realize that this isn't your average full coverage foundation that everyone is used to. Moving on to my next foundation on the list, which is my Nars Soft Matte Complete Foundation. I actually really love this foundation. It's transfer proof, oxidation resistant. It is a full coverage matte stay all day foundation. It's made for all skin types. They have 34 shades. It's $40 and you can find it on Sephora's website. I was actually very shocked to know that this foundation is cheaper than the Natural Radiant Longwear foundation by $10, which is crazy because I figured that they would be the same price, but the fact that this one is a little bit cheaper just makes me so happy because not everybody can afford to pay $49 for foundation. Sometimes with matte foundations, I feel like I can't wear them because the formula is so drying. All it does is just dry my skin out no matter how much I moisturize, no matter how much primer I use, hydrating primers, anything like that. I feel like sometimes some matte foundations are just not made for dry skin, but this foundation is definitely made for dry skin as well. This is one of my favorite matte foundations because I love the fact that it has microalgae and biohyaluronic acid, which helps absorb excess oil in the skin. Even though my skin is dry, I do get oily in my T-zone. I don't know if you guys can tell, but like right here in this area, I'm getting a little bit oily, but I don't get oily when I wear this foundation. And I love that because it prevents me from having to add more powder to my skin. Moving right along to my next foundation, which is my Nars Natural Radiant Longwear Foundation. If you have been following me for a few years now, you already know that this is my favorite holy grail product. I have been wearing this foundation for years now. This foundation is a buildable, fade-resistant, full coverage foundation made for normal, dry, and combination skin. And I specifically remember that because I thought this foundation was made for all skin types, but apparently it's not that great for oily skin. This foundation comes in 34 shades. It's $49 and you can pick it up at Sephora.com. I love shopping on Sephora, so that's where I get all of my products. I know that I've said that I love all of these foundations, which I do, and I know that I've also said that every last foundation is my favorite, but this foundation is literally my holy grail foundation. I have been using this foundation for the past 3 years since it launched. I don't remember exactly when it launched, but whenever it launched, I've been using it consistently ever since. I love this foundation because I can use it all year round. So you know how sometimes you have like a summer shade, a winter shade because your skin changes? Now with this foundation, I have not had to get a different color in this foundation at all. I use the same foundation all year round and I just love it on my skin. If you have dry skin, I highly recommend you trying this foundation. It is so good. Like, I feel like it hydrates you, but at the same time, it like mattifies you and it just does everything that you needed to do for your skin as a dry skin girl. Moving right along to my #1 foundation, which is my Too Faced Born This Way Matte 24-hour undetectable super Longwear foundation. I feel like these foundation names are so long, but yeah, I love this foundation. It controls oils and it has a 24-hour hold. Medium coverage made for all skin types, comes in 35 shades and it is $40. I love this foundation mainly because it's $40, which is not really expensive compared to the rest of the foundations that I do have up here. You can also find this foundation at Sephora.com. I mean, hello, all of my products are from Sephora. This is my #1 foundation out of all 5 of them. I love this foundation because it goes on dewy and then it dries down matte, which is perfect for my dry skin because I need all the moisture that I can get. So the fact that it goes on dewy and then kind of allows my skin to adjust to it is perfect. I used to be so scared to wear matte foundations because I feel like all it did was took all the oils out of your skin, and I just felt like as a dry skin person that just wasn't possible, and I just could not wear a matte foundation because not only did it make me feel dry, but it also made me feel cakey at the same time, and it pulled on all of my dry patches. But I love this foundation because it doesn't do any of those things, and I have dry skin, so it's perfect. I think the #1 thing that sold me on this foundation is the fact that I could put this foundation on at like, let's say I can put this foundation on at like 8 a.m. and then not take it off until 10 p.m. But throughout that whole day, I've taken a nap, I've worn my mask, I've eaten, I've drinking, like I've accidentally rubbed up against my husband's shirt, and the foundation looks flawless. It looks perfect, like it's perfectly intact. And that's when I was like, okay, this is my top foundation of 2020 because it is literally that good. So for me, out of all 5 foundations that I have tried today, I highly, highly, highly recommend you trying either the Nars Natural Radiant Longwear Foundation or the Born This Way Matte Foundation. These 2 foundations are unmatched in my opinion, and I really love them. I feel like if you have dry skin, you will love both of these foundations. But if you are more skeptical and you don't want to try the matte one, I highly suggest you trying this one for your dry skin. You will absolutely fall in love with it. It is so amazing. And they're about a $10 price difference. This one is $40 and this one is $49. It's a little bit more on the expensive side, but it is 100% worth it. Comment down below and let me know if you've tried any of these foundations, or if you haven't tried any of them at all, comment down below and let me know which foundation you're gonna go pick up based on my recommendations. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys on Wednesday. Bye.